to get back to that racing in order to burn those calories off. So people just give up and they say, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, whereas if you kind of moderate your exercise and you're exercising most days of the week and you're also eating a healthy, balanced diet that's not high in carbs, it's higher in fat and protein and lower on the carbs, then it's easy actually to get back on track if you slipped. If you had a day where you ate mostly carbs and you ate a lot of bad stuff, it's actually pretty easy to get right back on track just with the eating. It definitely feels good to have a little workout in after a day of eating badly, but it's more important that you get back on track with the eating. And you're only one meal away from being on track. So if you blew it and you had a big piece of cake one night, well, you can start over the next day. And that's where you're going to keep your weight off and not get on the proverbial treadmill.
Yeah, so obviously we are in favor of exercising. It's a key component to more than just weight loss or other than weight loss, is to keep your mind fit. And there was an article on Scientific American titled "Fit Body, Fit Mind. Your workout makes you smarter. How can you stay sharp into old age?" And their claim is that through exercise, it increases blood flow and nutrient flow and affects your mental attitude, basically, by expending energy, whatever it may be. Obviously, the ultra-marathoners or marathoners or people that do high-endurance stuff are counteracting that with excess cortisol secretion. But people that do moderate exercise experience these personal benefits and cognitive enhancement. So the basic idea is that what you do affects your mental well-being. Staying physically and mentally active helps us stay sharp as we age. So in terms of a lifestyle, exercise, whether you do it every day or 3 times a week or just twice a week, it's going to help your whole lifestyle, basically, what you're doing for your body. And the idea of a healthy mind, fit body is to be eating the right things and exercising when you have time and when you think it's going to be beneficial for you, and keeping all these things in perspective, which relates to the psychology of this. Because if you have a mindset that is focused on these details of calories in, calories out, how much exercise do I have to do, all this stuff, you're losing sight of the main notion, which is how do you relate to yourself and your own wants, your own desires. If you go on an eating binge, that's kind of indicative of having some unaddressed issue inside yourself, because you know on some level that this is not a good behavior to do, right? Mm-hmm. But people are doing it for a variety of reasons, and those are emotional reasons. And in order to understand those emotions, you really have to introspect. And that's one of the main purposes we wrote the book, Healthy Mind, Fit Body, because you're unable to really resolve all those emotional issues if you don't introspect, if you don't look at, from a psychotherapeutic point of view, if you will, all those issues that can reach back through into childhood, actually. When people learn how to eat certain things or don't eat certain things and develop certain habits, they have a hard time overcoming, essentially. And there's tons of gurus and experts and all that out there that will tell you, you need to do this, you need to do that, but those are all kind of external injunctions. You really need to focus inside yourself and ground yourself in your own understanding of where your emotions are coming from. And the 7-day program we have at the end of the book is really, really beneficial for doing this, to explore all those subtleties in your subconscious mind, your thoughts and feelings, to come to terms with all of these different behavior patterns that you see in yourself. And, of course, the self-image issues, too.
Yeah, right. And just to wrap up on this article, the Time Magazine article, in that first paragraph that I read, the last sentence, they're promoting the idea of, instead of thinking about exercising a ton to lose weight, think about eating healthy and doing, the little things like walking instead of driving. Or he says, I might have enough energy to shop for food, cook, and then clean instead of ordering a satisfyingly greasy burrito. But I'm saying you can have it all, because there's things like that. Like, my mind wants a satisfyingly greasy burrito every now and then, but you just got to be smart about it. I mean, you can have that. And, a lot of the problems with like the burritos is the thing that it's wrapped in, the flour tortilla. That's what's really killing the nutrition there. But you can have a healthy, satisfying burrito, and you're not cheating yourself, and you're actually doing something healthy, and you're having what you want. So I think that ties in a little bit with the psychology as well.
So yeah, I mean, you're always one meal away from the zone, if you will, of getting back into that sort of lifestyle that you want in terms of maintaining a healthy, fit body or losing the weight, because weight loss is the result of burning the fat off. I mean, that's the key, is to burn the body fat and not the lean body mass. So as you increase your fat intake and minimize your carbohydrate intake to the point in which, you're eating, I eat less than, say, 100 grams of carbohydrates a day, and that seems to be a reasonable amount. I mean, it's the equivalent of, say, 4 oranges worth of carbohydrates. And if you eat a lot of vegetables, which you ought to be doing, leafy greens and so forth, there's not many carbohydrates in those, as well as like seasonal berries, blueberries and strawberries and raspberries and all those kinds of things, and even acai. You're not going to get many carbs from those either, but you're going to get a lot of phytonutrients and antioxidants.
And as you change your diet, you'll start to gravitate towards some of these healthy foods instead of gravitating towards stuff that's not going to help you. And I don't even count any of my calories. I never look at anything. It's more just getting used to these foods and actually starting to like them.
Mm-hmm. And seeing the results on your own body too. And that relates back to the psychology. So if you want to know more about the psychological aspect, I encourage you to check out the book, because that 7-day program is a really great way to explore yourself in a way that you probably won't find in a counseling session with a psychotherapist. They were really formulated by Nathaniel Branden, and I think he's in partial practice now. But the great thing about them is you can do them on your own. You don't need to go somewhere to visit with someone else to help you work through those. I mean, if you're having sticking points, you're always welcome to email us, and we can help you out there. But the great thing is that you can do them on your own, and they are a way to become more responsible and self-sufficient and just more authentic in your relationship with yourself, with your true self, the person that you are on a fundamental level that has infinite self-worth and doesn't want to damage yourself through eating or excessive exercise, and just has a more reasonable view of yourself in the world. So all those resources can be found on the website, healthymindfitbody.com, which we just got going, and we have, I think, the first blog post on there too. So,
right. So can I still have my cheesecake?
You can still have your cheesecake, maybe with some blueberries on top.
Yeah, there you go. Great. So to sign up for the newsletter, we're going to be doing a bi-monthly newsletter. Just go to healthymindfitbody.com and put in your name and email, and you'll start getting the newsletter here shortly.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we're going to be doing Twitter, so follow us at healthymindfitb.
Yeah, Twitter's a great way to stay abreast of what's going on the site, and little tidbits that we find in the news and so forth that we think are helpful. And we could do a podcast solely on wood chippers, don't you think, Kevin? Because some people listening to this podcast might have noticed something in the background, and it actually is a wood chipper that fired up just before we finished the podcast. So apologize for that, but next time...
Eating wood is bad.
Eating wood is bad. It's high in fiber, but not much to digest there unless you've got a bunch of, termites have a bacteria in them that can digest the wood pulp. Wood is definitely not advisable. So when you visit healthymindfitbody.com, there's a bonus audio that we did explaining the three pillars that you can